Good morning, friends. Welcome to Sunday celebration here at Unity Spiritual Center of Anchorage and of wherever you are. Brought to you by the power of the internet. I acknowledge that I am standing in the ancestral lands of the Naina people. And now let's start with a prayer. And so we just take a moment this morning to breathe and to be and to settle whatever busyness of the day and just be present to this moment together, sharing our hearts, our minds, opening up to that wisdom that is ever present. And so we send an intention of wisdom, of love, of compassion and joy to the world and to each other. And so it is. Amen. So good to see you all. So it is the beginning of the month. And so this is when we like to do our celebration. Always exciting when you're doing new things. Always good to check your technology. I learned every time you use a new thing, you always should check it ahead of time. I learned that. It's a good thing I did that yesterday. So I'd like to start us off with a song today. And this is a song called One Power. And it's written by Daniel Nemad. And I'm going to hit a button. I hope it does what I want. Yes, it did. Good. I chose this song because, well, I think you'll see why, because it's a really great song and it speaks to our oneness and our connection with everybody. Did I lose it? No, come back. Okay, sorry. Technology, right? So this is performed by the music team at Unity of the Valley in Eugene, Oregon. And so here it is.
One power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. There's one power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Bahalua, angels' wings or heaven's doors. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different things. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Bahalua, Hashem, or Heaven's Doors. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. One power, one power, one power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby in the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon for its love that's most deep. It's one power. One power. One power. It's one power. 'Cause what we are is one power. One power. One power. It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power.
Did you get God bumps? I got God bumps. And you see why I chose that song, I hope. All right. So now we're going to head you over to Nancy for the absolute word.
Good morning, everyone. Today's absolute word is appreciation. I cheerfully appreciate the good in my life. Appreciation and gratitude are expressed from the principles of benevolence and generosity. Every day, I invest time appreciating the abundance surrounding me. I notice the beauty of the natural world, the talent and dedication behind the music and art I enjoy, and the skill and commitment of the people who work to maintain a safe and orderly world. What I focus on in my mind grows in my mind and in my awareness. As I focus my attention on everything I appreciate, the more I notice to appreciate. I give my full attention to someone I care about during a meal, a favorite activity, or simply a quiet moment together. I appreciate my life's bounty and feel gratitude for the love and beauty that enriches my life, I cheerfully appreciate the good in my life. Once again, I cheerfully appreciate the good in my life.
Days, one of these days, I'm gonna remember to unmute myself when I do that. In the meantime, Nancy will just make her shake her hands at me, which is great. Well, anyway, I cheerfully appreciate the good in my life. And that's one of the goods of my life, right? All right, so let's move into our meditation time, friends. Oh, those words are really small. You probably know them. They're pretty easy. Make sure I'm playing the right chords. That's one of those things I do sometimes, is play the wrong chords. So we're going to move into our meditation time. So I just invite you to settle in. Relax the shoulders. And you can sing I am peace along with us. You can sing I am love or joy or wisdom. Whatever combination speaks to you this morning. Peace I am. Peace. I am peace. I am peace. Peace I am. I am peace. I am peace. Peace I am. I am peace. So I just invite you to settle in some more, friends. Notice any tensions in the body and just let them relax. And just breathe. I am peace. I am love. I am wisdom. I am truth. I am peace. I am health. I am joy. I am abundant. And as you settle further into our meditation, just allowing the body to relax, allowing the breath to move freely and gently. Noticing any sticking spots in the body or the mind. And just gently allowing the release. As we rest in the silence. Just breathe and relax. Feel free to repeat after me. Affirm these statements as true. Notice if you feel resentment or resistance. Or just ignore me. I am peace. I am love. I am wisdom. I am joy. I am health. I am abundance. I am compassion. I am. We are. All of that and more. We are one. And so I just invite you, friends, to let that gratitude for this time of connection warm you, fill you. Feel every cell in your body vibrating with the excitement, joy, of gratitude, of appreciation. And let's just send that love and appreciation, compassion, wisdom out across our city and across our world, giving all the citizens of the world a love hug, peace, wisdom, abundance. Knowing that there is one power and presence in the universe. I am that, you are that, we are that. So I invite you to just ground back into the space that you're in. Maybe you notice your feet on the floor, or your chair, body in your chair. Noticing any tensions. Wiggle the fingers and toes, roll the neck. Yes. And so it is. I am peace. I am peace. Peace I am. So before I forget, remember if you, Celebration Sunday. So if you haven't already, so a few of you have sent me some celebrations for August. If you have any, message or text them to me so we can celebrate at the end. All right. And so I'd like to start today with a story from New Revised Standard Version of the Bible. This is from 2 Kings 4. First of all, there's a lot of prophets going around doing stuff in the Bible. It wasn't just Jesus doing his thing, right? So anyway, this is about Elisha. And previous to this, there was a lot of things going on. So here we are, chapter 4. Now the wife of a member of the company of prophets cried to Elisha, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that your servant feared the Lord, but a creditor has come to my 2 children to take my 2 children as slaves." That's a problem. Elisha said to her, "What shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in the house?" She answered, "Your servant has nothing in the house except a jar of oil." He said, "Go outside, borrow vessels from all your neighbors, empty vessels, and not just a few. Then go in, shut the door behind you and your children, and start pouring into all these vessels. When each is full, set it aside." So she left him and shut the door behind her and her children. They kept bringing vessels to her, and she kept pouring. When the vessels were full, she said to her son, "Bring me another vessel." But he said, "There are no more." And then the oil stopped flowing. She came and told the man of God, and he said, "Go sell the oil and pay your debts, and you and your children can live on the rest." You may have heard that story before. And there's a lot of angles, a lot of ways that you can interpret this particular passage. Often it's used as a passage about abundance. I'm almost sure that I have actually spoken on this passage as a story about abundance, which it certainly is. It's a story about you have as much as you have room to take in, right? You could definitely take that angle. That's a good angle to go with. It could be a story about asking for help from the prophet, who in this role is sort of taking the role of God. She goes and prays for help, and she gets help. And that's good too. But the thing that made me think about this story is I was thinking about the neighbors. The neighbors aren't a very prominent part of this story, but they are what makes the story happen. They are the provider of the vessels for the abundance, right? And I was like, oh yeah, that's a really important part of the story. The neighbors. Because I think that it's really important. It's always important to remember. But right now, when many of us are spending a lot of time alone, more time than usual, some of us are at home by ourselves. Some of us are at home with the same people all the time. Sometimes it feels a little lonely. Sometimes many people in our country and around the world are at home and not making money. They feel maybe a little bit like the widow in the story. And so the neighbors are there to say, hey, we're not alone. They could have said, go get your own vessels. But they didn't. They said, here you go. Well, I mean, we didn't hear that part of the story, but since she ended up with vessels, we're going to just assume that when when the children came around asking for things to put oil in, they just said, here you go. And isn't that what would happen? You know, if my neighbor came and said, hey, do you have a spare bucket? I'd be like, yeah, here's my spare bucket. Right? Because we help each other out. When I got a ginormous pile of dirt ordered in, I realized I'm not sure I can use all this dirt. And so I shared. And for some people, it was difficult to, I'm like, just take a wheelbarrow of dirt. If you need a wheelbarrow of dirt, really, I got a lot. And for some people, it's hard for them to accept that without having to give something else in return. And that's fine. But I'm just like, hey, I have an abundance. My oil runs over. And so we're not in this alone. And that's something that's so important for us to remember. First of all, that we're not alone, and that mandate we have to take care of each other. Right? So maybe we're in this story, we're the widow who doesn't have an income and doesn't have and has debts. Or maybe we're the neighbor in the story. Maybe we're the neighbor. So how can we help out? I was just, as I was thinking about this, I was like, Jesus didn't say you're in this on your own, right? No, he said, wherever two or more are gathered, there I am. And you could say, well, wherever two or more are gathered, that means that the presence of Jesus or the Christ or Spirit is there, which is true anywhere, because God is everywhere, always true, right? But there's something, I know that when we're in community with one another, we feel like more than just the sum of our parts. I feel that. I'm sure you feel that. And it's not quite the same when we're online and gathered together, but even then, it is pretty great to be connected with one another when we have a chance in fellowship to connect. And I think about, to choose another faith tradition, we're just trying to cover lots of faith traditions today, apparently. Think about the Bodhisattva, right? The story of the Bodhisattva in the Buddhist tradition is this is someone who has reached enlightenment, but decides not to go to nirvana, but instead stay and help others achieve enlightenment as well. I'm not saying that any of us have achieved enlightenment. Maybe you have, but we can all be inspired by the idea of the Bodhisattva that we can help and share with each other. And so I don't know what your part is in the widow's oil story. To be graciously to receive, to have faith that there is enough, to be the neighbor and help out. Probably we've all played all those roles at different points in our life. And maybe with different groups of people, we've played all of them at the same time. And so I think for those of us who do have enough, first of all, we're very grateful. And second of all, it is a time to hold into that faith, because we know that we have enough, and that'll hold the faith that there is continuing to be enough. Because when we remember that we're not alone, we realize like there is nobody who's really doing, who knows, there could be someone out there in the world who is completely living on their own without any support from anyone else. But it is very, very rare, because Of course, I'm definitely not that person, because I think about my morning coffee, right? First, there's my husband who made it and brought it to me. But then you take one more step back, right? There's the person who sold it to me at the store, and then there's the person who roasted the beans, and there's the person who delivered that to that place, and the person who packaged it to be shipped across the world, and then there's the person who processed it on that end, and then there's the person who harvested it, and there's the person who grew it. And that's just for my morning cup of coffee. Or you go to the farmer's market. It's a little bit shorter chain there, right? Go to the farmer's market. There's all this wonderful abundance. And there's people there who farmed the food and create it, but they made the environment to create it. And I am grateful. And of course, my gratitude shows up both in spoken gratitude and in the form of money. And so we're in that exchange all the time with one another. No one is alone. No one is really not dependent on each other. We're all dependent on each other. Whether you say, well, I have the money to do what I need to do, sure, but you still need others to help you do those things. You drive on roads, most of us. And I personally enjoy the fact that, at least where I live, most people follow the rules of driving. So it's much easier to know that when you stop at a stop sign, others will stop and things like that. I'm a fan. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. This meaning this life experience, this meaning this experience of pandemic. We're all in this together. If we all take care of each other, then we're creating more and more of that fellowship. We're creating more and more of a community of faith, not faith as in a religious belief, but in faith and belief in the abundance, faith and belief of our connection to oneness, to knowing what we saw or heard in the song. There's one power. Whatever you call that power, it's in all of us. And just recognizing that. So we see, instead of the other, we see our neighbor. And I know it's been hard and it's been disheartening sometimes, because it seems like not everybody's remembering those things. It is disheartening. And so we get to power up. Those of us who know and remember the truth that we are all in this together, and that no one's alone, and that none of us can do this by ourselves, this experience of life. Those of us who know that and remember that have to power up even more. We have to stand in that truth. I am peace. I am love. I am wisdom. I am life. I am compassion. See where the hurt places are and help to soothe the pain. Help to move upstream and see where the troubles are. We are at a time of great opportunity for healing in our world. But to do that, the pain has to come out, right? So I guess what I want to say as we're getting close to the end, once again, if you have any celebrations, send them over, is that, and even celebrations is part of that, knowing our, that we want to celebrate together. We want to be in community together. We want to get along. I don't want to have enemies or people who I think of in a bad way. It's part of my process, part of my learning and growth. No one is alone. We are all in this together. And so let us remember to be the neighbors who share what we have available to share. Right? In the story, the widow would not have been successful if her neighbors had not been abundant in sharing what they had. And for them, it was an empty vessel. It wasn't even, I mean, it was worth carrying for something, but it wasn't even that much that she needed. But it was the thing that changed her life. And so, you know, we make those changes through our spiritual practice. Sure, that's important. And how do we show up in the world? So those are the questions, the things to think about this week or forever. And to know that we're all in this together. I think it's something that just hold it in your heart and know that truth. We're all in this together. And so today, let's celebrate that Nancy's Aunt Linda's birthday is on the 11th. She's also expecting a great nephew this week, a new great nephew. How exciting. So may that family be blessed with health and patience and all that they need, healthy baby and mama. And Sue's birthday is the 23rd. I think this is one of our lowest birthday months, August. I don't know what that is. So, also, I wanted to tell you, I'm not sure, I think I may have forgotten to put it in the e-news, and I apologize for that. The celebration of life for Reverend Jim Peterson, who served in this ministry quite a while ago, is this afternoon. It's on Zoom. And so I have the information, the link information. So if you want that, just reach out and I'll send it to you. And so you can join that. It's today at 1:30 Alaska time. So let's see. Oh, yes. And Thursday will be our discussion group, Thursday at 11. So if you want to Zoom in and just chat about, have a cup of coffee and chat about spiritual things and life things, that would be great. The link is in our e-news. It's the same link you're going to use to go to fellowship in a minute. So there you go. All right. I think that's all. So let's add the prayer protection. So let's make it big. There we go. And so I just invite you to add to the circle anyone who's on your heart today. And we say this prayer of protection for our world and for all the people in our hearts. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. And so it is. And so, friends, also, you know, we had Taizé this last Thursday, and you can go over to the Facebook right where you are, look at the videos and watch that recording if you'd like. Also, you can head over, if you're not a monthly giver, thank you to our monthly givers, by the way. If you're not a regular monthly giver, you can head over to our website if you'd like to financially support our ministry. You can also support our ministry by sharing and liking posts. That always helps. The algorithms help us show up in the world. So join me for meditation at noonish most weekdays. And otherwise, we will see you over on the fellowship on Zoom in just a minute. All right. Have a wonderful week, friends. Take care. And remember, you are not alone. We are all in this together.